Hey guys, my name is Miska and welcome to Overwatch Central. As you saw earlier, we had some different gameplay videos off of Hammond, or well, Wrecking Ball, just showing off the different abilities real quick, kind of a first impressions type of thing. And in this video I wanted to go through more in particular kind of what exactly all these damage numbers are, what exactly all of the abilities do in detail, because there are some things about them that kind of need to be myth busted already in a way. I've heard a lot of different opinions about how they work and how just the damage values can differ. So I wanted to just get all of the numbers straight so you guys know what's up, and also kind of to make up for some of the confusion earlier. Alright, let's begin with, of course, the quad cannons. These are just the normal guns that Hammond used, just his normal weapon, and of course these just deal 10 damage. They just deal 10 damage body shot, the normal headshot multiplication. And interestingly enough as well, on Hammond you only headshot if you actually shoot the hamster at the very top of the mech when you are not in your sort of ball mode. I don't think you can actually crit when Hammond or Wrecking Ball is in the ball configuration. So yeah, quad cannons do 10 damage and deal normal headshot damage to enemies. Alright, after that we're gonna look at Grappling Claw. Now Grappling Claw doesn't actually deal any damage at all unless you are in the sort of flaming ball mode. So if you go fast enough, you kind of catch fire or whatever to show that you've hit max speed, and it's only then that you actually deal damage, but it is only 50 damage, so not a lot there. You can hit multiple enemies if you sort of, you know, knock them back and several people are in the same sort of spot, but yeah, only 50 damage there, and it only hits properly if you're actually in that sort of maximum speed mode. Otherwise, just like in the normal ball mode when you just roll around, you don't actually deal any damage to enemies and you don't even actually move them. So yeah, you do need to hit max speed to do anything there. Speaking of that next ability, Roll, this is just a movement ability. You don't deal any damage by hitting people with this, and I think of course if you are technically just rolling and not grappling clawing anymore and you are still at the top speed, then you should still deal that same 50 damage, but it's a bit more rare. Hitting top speed is pretty hard to do if you're just rolling around normally. You kind of need the grappling claw for that. Alright, after that we have Piledriver. This is the main sort of Goomba Stomp like type of ability where you just smash your Wrecking Ball down into the ground and you deal damage to enemies around you, and you also knock them up in the air. Now, few things to note about this, and of course Grappling Claw as well, that neither of these abilities actually stun enemies. These abilities just kind of knock people back and deal damage. So for example, with Piledriver I can't cancel ultimates, same for the Grappling Claw, it doesn't cancel any ultimates, any channeling like that. But Piledriver does deal damage as well, and it's a little bit weird. Sometimes it doesn't seem to deal any damage at all, and sometimes it deals a decent amount, and this is because the area that you knock people up in is pretty wide, and the area that you actually deal damage in is very small. You actually only really deal damage where you actually land, and if you land directly on an enemy with enough height, so you can actually see them, and then you land directly on them with Piledriver, you'll deal 100 damage. So again, not that much. It's not an insta-kill for what is already a pretty difficult ability to hit. Not saying it should be an insta-kill, but yeah, 100 damage. After that, we do have Adaptive Shield. Now, this isn't exactly a damage number, but this creates a temporary personal shield, and amount increases with more enemies nearby. How this works, and I believe Ryan commented on this as well, is that you just have 100 base shield. So when you just press the ability normally, you always get 100 shield. However, when there are more and more enemies nearby, you get 100 more shields if they are within that radius. You have a little counter in the bottom left that shows if you are within their radius or not, similar to how Lucy's aura works. And then if there are 6 people in there, then you should get 700 extra shield from that, and it works very similarly to the Doomfist shield. And that is basically all for the adaptive shield thing as well. Finally, of course, the ultimate Minefield does deal 130 damage per mine, but also knocks people back, meaning that if they are in the middle of the minefield, they should get knocked into other mines and easily take sort of a 260 or more damage. So yeah, that definitely does happen, and that's how Minefield works in itself. I do want to also mention though that the main thing about all of these abilities is that you want to use them in a nice sort of succession. What you're meant to do, as we kind of tried to show off a couple times as well, is, for example, say you're playing Hanamura and people are holding the gate or holding a little bit further back on the gate on defense, and you're trying to attack point A. You can roll forward, Grappling Claw up into the air with some extra max speed, Piledriver into the enemies to sort of disrupt them and maybe deal a little bit of damage at least, and then use Adaptive Shield there to get a lot of extra shield. And then once you're in the middle of all of them, you can either roll further back and deploy Minefield, for example, to not allow them to back off, or just deploy Minefield in the middle of all of them, or even just shoot a little bit with your quad cannons. They don't really deal a lot of damage, but this is a good type of initiation method, similar to how Winston can jump a backline and disrupt, but this time around you deal a lot more damage if you use your ultimate, and even if you don't, you just kind of take the heat off of your team trying to push in with a main tank, because Wrecking Ball is definitely not a main tank. Unfortunately, I was kind of hoping for it. Pretty interesting hero, but yeah, of course, so at least there's a little bit of potential there to take it far out of the sky or so, but that is basically all, and also basically it for this video. Thank you very much for watching, leave a like if you enjoyed it, and subscribe for more Overwatch content as per usual. Until next time, take care, and we'll see you then.